Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 5.
Roads look a lot better today than they did yesterday. Here's video from earlier today from the Village Green neighborhood in Moorhead. You can see all the recent snowfall we got has been pushed to the side, making it a little bit easier for cars to pass. Moorhead Public Works says plow drivers have been working anywhere from 10 to 12 hours a day to clear the roads. On the West Fargo side, crews have been working around the clock to get those side roads cleared. Throughout the valley, most residential areas have been plowed, but there is still a lot of work to do. And that's prompting cleanup crews to not only focus on what's left, but also get ready for more heavy and thick snow.
We're as prepared as we can be. We try to track the storm and get the timing down and start at the best time and run as long as we can, and then get some crew rest and start all over again.
Moorhead Public Works is advising people not to park in the streets because that makes it difficult for plow drivers to get through. They also say they appreciate everyone's patience during these harsh winter events. There's no getting rid of the brutal Arctic air just yet, but at least it's not snowing or too windy. Hutch, any more positives for us this evening?
Yes, we do have positives. A beautiful setting sun out in the western skies. Hardly a cloud in the sky. Now, the danger is with clear skies and calm winds, temperatures can get cold real fast, and that's exactly what's going to happen. Mostly clear skies across the region, some trying to punch in from western South Dakota. Temperatures are already in the teens below zero for Devils Lake and Fargo. Williston also in that boat at this hour. Factor in the wind chills, and we're between 20 and 30 below in many locations of western Minnesota. And here in the valley, wind chill advisory is in effect for this evening. Here's what you need to know. Early this evening, temperatures will fall fairly quickly to near what they were this morning, 20 to 30 below in eastern North Dakota and near 20 below out in Lakes Country. Wind chills 25 to 45 below zero this evening. Overnight, though, watch the clouds build in. They'll actually help to warm things up a little bit by daybreak. So that's how we start our weekend. It'll be cold, but not as cold. Be prepared, though, first thing tonight if you're heading out and say you're coming back from the movies. Make sure you're bundled up. We'll have some pretty brutal wind chills and air temperatures through the evening hours.
All right. Thanks for that update, Hutch.
You bet.
Traffic is back to normal this afternoon on 19th Avenue North in Fargo after it was closed for nearly 24 hours. Crews worked hard to clear the roadway after the valley was hit with that heavy snow that caused massive drifts. Fargo Public Works says this recent snowstorm has only prepared them for more to come.
Well, we'll be digging out around the clock until the next event happens. Hopefully you're wrong and it doesn't, but if it does, we'll be prepared.
Public Works says they might have to close 19th Avenue again next week if we get hit with another storm. With several inches of new snow on the ground, building a snow fort or tunnel might be on your kids' to-do list for this weekend. But after one 12-year-old Chicago girl died late last month from a snow fort collapsing on top of her, Valley News Team's crime and safety reporter Bailey Hurley talked with firefighters to find out how your kids can still have fun, but also stay safe playing in the winter snow.
It wouldn't take very long at all, especially in these conditions, for a child to kind of suffocate and you not know about it.
It's an incident Adam Pitts has never seen in his 6 years with the Moorhead Fire Department, but that doesn't mean it's impossible.
Well, if it's a really high pile and they're tunneling in on it, there would be a lot of concern that it could fall down in on them. And it's much like a avalanche. When people get stuck in avalanches, they can't breathe, they get asphyxiated, and that's how a lot of them die.
But Pitt says that also doesn't mean your kids shouldn't be allowed to have fun in the snow.
And if you can, have them start building like a fort from the ground up, and it's not way over their head if they're, don't have them tunnel in. Have them pull snow down and build a fort around them and then tunnel up.
Some people tell me the best way to make sure your tunnel doesn't collapse on you is to take a candle or boiling water inside to harden up the walls. But Pitt says that's not the best idea.
It could actually hurt the kid even more if it does collapse on them, because now you have that hard surface falling down on them. Now you have potentially scrapes, broken bones.
So after building my tunnel this afternoon, I wanted to get the expert's opinion, only to find out I'd done it all wrong.
So even though that looks safe, you could get stuck in there if you're all the way back and that closes down in front of you. You could have 2 inches of snow in front of you, or you could have 6 feet depending on how it fell.
I'm here in my snow tunnel that I built today, and as you just heard, I did this all wrong. Pitt says that if your child is going to build a snow tunnel this weekend, that not to build one into such a tall pile of snow like this one. He says to build one into a snowdrift or a snow pile that's about the same height as your child. But he says the best thing that you can do is plop down into the snow, kind of dig yourself a circle around, and then build that snow up around you, more like a fort. So that way there is absolutely no way that snow can collapse in on you and trap you and possibly kill you. Reporting live from my snow fort in South Fargo, Bailey Hurley, Valley News Live.
Right, thanks, Bailey, for that live report. This week's Valley's Most Wanted is 27-year-old Justine Skaug. Police say she's wanted out of Cass County for failing a 24/7 program on a controlled substance charge. You can call your local law enforcement if you have any information on that person. A Fargo man is now in jail after authorities say he tried to steal 2 vehicles from a home but got them stuck in the driveway. It happened early this morning around 1 at a home near Thompson, North Dakota. Deputies accused Cody Foster of trying to steal the 2 vehicles. When he got them stuck, he took off and tried to drive away, but then he got his own car stuck. Deputies caught up with him and arrested him. He's being held on multiple charges, including burglary and unlawful use of a vehicle, and is currently in the Grand Forks County Jail. Authorities in Jamestown have launched a full investigation after seizing fentanyl resembling oxycodone. According to police, the small pills were made to look like the prescription medication oxycodone. Officers determined the pills were actually fentanyl, which is a synthetic opioid that is 80 to 100 times stronger than morphine. The pills are stamped with an M on one side and a 30 on the other, according to police. They want you to give them a call if you have come in contact with these pills or have any information about them. A Minnesota man was sentenced to more than a decade in prison in connection with the drunken snowmobile crash that killed an 8-year-old boy on Chisago Lake. Aaron Adelson reports.
Several family members spoke to the court and directly to Eric Coleman about how his actions that led to the death of 8-year-old Alan Geisenketter Jr. have affected their lives. Among them, Alan's aunt, Gwen Coker, who says she suffers every day.
Survivor's grief. It really is a real thing. I feel guilty every day that it wasn't us on the lake that night, that my 2 boys are safe and alive, and my nephew isn't.
Little Alan's mom also spoke at the sentencing. She says she now suffers from PTSD.
It's hard to be there for my girls. The grief takes over everything I do. It's just not fair that he was taken from us. I miss him, and there is nothing that will ever repair my broken heart.
The emotional words from Alan's family affected Coleman, and he eventually got his chance to speak.
I just truly believe it's time to move on and recover and heal from this. Just ask for forgiveness. I'm terribly sorry. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Coleman. You don't really move on. It stays with you. You live with it.
Little Alan's family says they're happy Coleman apologized, but they say there are no words to change how they feel.
The judge says Coleman must serve at least 2/3 of his sentence behind bars. A lawyer who works for the family of Daniel Fuller is demanding the city compensate the Fuller family for $20 million. Fuller was from Devil's Lake. In July, he was shot and killed by Brandon Potts, a Devil's Lake police detective. The family is also asking the city to hold Potts accountable for the death of Danny. Stick with Valley News Live for updates on this story. 2 years ago, some North Dakota lawmakers looked at changes to the state's Family Medical Leave Act, or FMLA, policies, but ran out of time. Representative Corey Mock says House Bill 1470, which he wrote, is upholding a promise he made to a father who lost his son to suicide. The bill would allow parents to use up to 12 weeks of leave after the death of a child. Mock says birth and adoption of a child is already covered, so death should be as well.
They would be able to take paid and unpaid leave, sick leave, for bereavement purposes within those first 6 months. No more than they would for any other circumstance. They can't extend their benefits. It doesn't give them more benefits. It would just allow them to use their current benefits for that purpose.
No one testified against the bill. The change would affect about 14,000 state employees. The father who sparked this bill wasn't able to make it in because of weather, but did submit testimony. The Fargo-Moorhead St. Patrick's Parade is back on thanks to community efforts. Organizers of the parade announced in early January that there would not be a parade for the 2019 holiday because of overwhelming expenses that need to go towards security. But as of today, the 23-year tradition lives on. Over the last few weeks, Fargo Mayor Tim Mahoney and the Downtown Community Partnership president met to develop a plan to save the parade. Businesses and community members donated the necessary funds to allow the DCP to successfully sponsor this year's event. So the 23rd annual St. Patrick's Parade will be held on Saturday, March 16th, beginning at 11 a.m. President Trump has invited the NDSU Bison football team to be honored at the White House. Following the Bison's 7th FCS national title in 8 years, Senator John Hoeven and the president discussed honoring the team at the White House, and the president has now extended an invitation. Hoeven has also spoken with NDSU President Dean Brashani and is working with NDSU, the president, and the White House to coordinate the visit.
Well, the Bison football team, another great year. This is the 7th national championship in 8 years, and I was talking to the president about other issues, but I brought up our football team and how great they are. He's been to Fargo. He knows about the Bison, and so now he's invited them to the White House. He said, that's fantastic. They're a fantastic team. I'd love to host them at the White House.
We will hear more from the coaches tonight on Valley News Live at 6. A North Dakota House resolution recognizing Bismarck native and Super Bowl winning quarterback Carson Wentz for his accomplishments during the 2017 NFL season has passed. Wentz himself passed for nearly 3,300 yards with 33 touchdowns during the 2017 season. The resolution also celebrates his accomplishments off the field with his work through his AO1 Foundation. The resolution will now go to the Senate.